Hey folks, it's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Also home to the best MJ community on the planet. Today's Thursday, September 21st. I hope you're doing awesome. And in this video, we're going to be discussing Tilray Brands, ticker symbol TLRY. We're going to be discussing their upcoming earnings report. It was released today. And then we'll look at the chart. There's some massively bullish indicators as well that I want to share with everybody. And then we can take a look at some other earnings estimates and forecasts and what to expect. And I'll give my thoughts and opinions on that. But before we get to it, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff, and you'll be notified on any future videos or when I do a live stream. So as I mentioned, we do have earnings coming up October 4th. This was released today, and it's going to be for Q1 2024. And then just before we jump to it as well, make sure to give Pow Group a follow on X, which is formerly Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. Again, the handle for that is @GroupPow. Also, make sure to check out powmerch.ca. There's a 10% off going on for a little over a week until the end of the month. And you can use PowG420 as a thank you. I really do appreciate all the support along the way. And you can get your Team Tilray hat that I'm rocking here at the moment. You can see here, just arrived yesterday. Super impressed with the quality, and I've had over 20 orders, so I really do appreciate it. Love each and every one of you who supported me along the way, and just been a great response so far. Also, just as a public service announcement, I am doing an interview with Morgan Fox. He's the political director at Normal, which is a nonprofit organization that lobbies the U.S. government and governments around the world with regards to MJ reform. We're going to be discussing and doing an interview on Friday. We'll be discussing rescheduling and HHS recommendation of Schedule 3 and then the DEA sign off potentially over the next couple months. We'll also be talking about safe banking and even more. And if anybody does have any questions, please drop them in the comment section below. It's not going to be a live stream, so I'll be uploading it after I interview him. So here's the article that came out today from Tilray Brands. They are set to announce first quarter 2024 financial results on October 4th, 2023. And then they'll be hosting a conference call as well. The conference call will be October 4th at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And then there will be a replay available as well on the company's website. So if you're not able to attend, there will be a replay for you to take advantage of. So here's the estimates that we're expecting. Analysts are expecting 232.71 million in terms of revenue, and that's in Canadian dollars. And EPS, earnings per share, is forecasted at negative 0.0992. So they are expecting a little bit of they're still expecting a loss essentially coming up here. And one thing to keep in mind is that the Hexo advisory fee is no longer going to be, that was on their last quarter report. So it's not going to be there, but Hexo revenue will be on this report. So that should basically cancel each other out because they should, in theory, be roughly around the same thing. I would say you're probably going to come in somewhere around 30, 40 million, maybe 50 million on the high end for revenue from Hexo and Redecan, but we'll have to just deal with that when the time comes, and we'll see what the numbers come out with. But like I said, with no advisory fee, that was paid out after the merger completed, and then now we're going to have revenue, so that in theory should nullify that. And like I said, we should see 232.71 million, which is a big jump from last estimate, but still lower than what we came in terms of revenue. 243.51 million rather was the revenue from last quarter. A huge beat in terms of analyst estimates. So they are expecting a pretty big jump up again, but lower than what we came in last quarter, which is interesting. So again, going to be interesting to see. And then also Redecan came out with some new flowers. So Animal Runs, Violet Fog, Sex Panther. There's also King Sherb. And those are, the response from those have been absolutely fantastic. I really love the Animal Runs. It's over 30%. I think it was like 32%. And like I said, it's fantastic. I put some photos on the YouTube channel. If you go into the community tab, it's all there. And you can just scroll down. That's where I put a lot of the raw footage as well, because a lot of social media and whatnot doesn't like that. But over the next few quarters, we're going to get a really good idea of what this global powerhouse is going to be, especially with Hexo and Redecan on the books. It's going to be an interesting few quarters ahead. And speaking of an interesting few quarters ahead, we do have a massively bullish indicator and pattern that's forming, and that would be a golden cross. The last time we had a golden cross, which was when the 50-day moving average, the shorter term, is below the 200-day moving average. When they cross, that's referred to as a golden cross and a bull cross. On the daily time frame, it's a golden cross when it's the 50-day and the 200-day. Price went from about $7 all the way up to $67, and that was just on the hopes of U.S. legalizing and the Dems taking control of the Senate. Then we had the 50-day above the 200-day moving average, the shorter term above the longer term, and when it's the 50-day and the 200-day, that's called a death cross. Price went from about $15 all the way down to $1.50 on that bearish signal, right? Now we're seeing the flip side where we're seeing a golden cross again, and this time we're way more beaten down, and we're back testing those moving averages here on the daily time frame. We knew to be expecting a pretty sizable pullback based on the amount of upside that we saw. We had like 120%, over 120% of gains in just a couple months. And we still didn't change weekly, and we changed the weekly trend. Still a lot of other names in the MJ sector didn't though, but we still didn't change the monthly time frame. And as I've been saying, we need to confirm monthly uptrends across the sector, not just Tilray, but LPs, MSOs, ETFs, retailers all need to confirm monthly uptrends and golden crosses before we can be confident that the bottom of this multi-year bear market is in and we're potentially starting a new multi-year bull market. And I think the catalyst that's going to take us there and lift us out of this bear market and start a new multi-year bull market is going to be the DEA signing off on HHS Schedule 3 recommendation. We could, in theory, see that over the next couple of months. We've got Florida potentially on the ballot in 2024. We've got an election year in the U.S. We've got the MJ Act up for renewal here. We got Germany coming online. We got safe banking, rescheduling. There's tons of stuff going on at the moment. Other individual states potentially legalizing medical and rec as well. But if we take a look at Tilray here on the weekly time frame, we do have key supports. We're still in a weekly uptrend. You can see here we have the low, high, higher low, and higher high. We're just scouting a higher low compared to support here at 222. After 222, we have support there at 216. So this could be a nice entry here, and we can even draw a trend line. I'm not a huge fan of trend lines, but you can see here we could be forming a bit of a head and shoulders here as well, but so far this trend line is holding and it's looking really, really good. And like I said, we're just expecting a weekly higher low at this point. So if you're looking for a long-term entry, again, this isn't financial advice. This is for entertainment and informational purposes only, my own thoughts and opinions. You should never buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write, but this could be a nice entry here playing off of those supports. You could even set a stop loss below $2 and look to swing this thing, right? This could be a nice, 20-30% swing. Or if you're looking to load up for the long term, you can't go wrong, in my opinion, at these levels either. And Tilray being my biggest position. I'm not going to be adding any more. My bags are packed. I'm good either way. If we go to the moon or if we drop to new 52-week and all-time lows, I'll just continue to dollar cost average on new lows. But I'm not adding unless we set a new all-time low. But if we bring up the monthly chart, I'll show you what I'm looking at here. So we still haven't confirmed a monthly uptrend. We started the monthly bounce, right? If we just expand this a little bit here, you can see here we started the monthly bounce. The bounce just means we broke the high of the previous candle, and if it's on the monthly time frame, it's the monthly bounce. If it's a weekly candle and we break the high of the previous weekly candle, it's a weekly bounce. If we lose the low of the previous monthly candle, it's consolidation and pullback, right? So right now, we could see consolidation and pullback here if we lose that weekly uptrend and support there at 216. So that's the level to be watching for. That's the low of last month. So what bulls want to see is the low, high, higher low, and higher high. So we still haven't even started the higher low because we haven't lost last month's candle. What bulls want to see is as big of a bounce as possible to allow for that room to form and then see the higher high. So that could be another entry opportunity as well to enter on a monthly higher low. Whether or not it happens this month with 8 days left or next month, that remains to be seen. But like I said, best case scenario for bulls is we continue the monthly bounce and we continue going higher, and then into maybe mid-October, which I've been saying, I think we could see some weakness. Historically, it's not been great for stocks in October, and then into end of October into November is where we start to kick into high gear, no pun intended. But like I said, we'll be watching for monthly consolidation and monthly uptrends to confirm across the sector. And then also it is a potential inverse head and shoulders here on the monthly time frame as well. So if we just zoom in here and see here, left shoulder, head, we could be forming a right shoulder. And if we take the measured move from the low to the high here, you're looking at about a measured move of about $13. And the reason why that's not showing correctly is because I'm not on log scale. There we go. So now that I'm on log scale, you can see here that this could be a head forming. And if we get back up to the neckline here around $4, a little over $4, we could come down for a right shoulder. That could be our monthly higher low. And then an inverse head and shoulders, you take the low to the high and you measure that out. And it says we could be targeting about $13 here over the next few months into the end of the year. And we're hitting our head right at EMA 12. We're unable to get above it. So if we can get a monthly candle close above $3 EMA 12, we could be heading to EMA 26 in a hurry. And that's sitting at $6.75 USD on the NASDAQ. But we're potentially set to close under the 10-week moving average, not looking good. We had a bear cross of the stochastic and the MACD starting to turn bearish as well. So again, adding a little bit more to the bearish thesis that we could see a little bit more pain in the short term before we see a massive end of year rally. And then, like I said, this golden cross forming, and then we'll be looking for monthly uptrends across the sector. But those will be the numbers to be looking out for on October 4th. I'll be covering this obviously extensively and we'll run through it. But 232.71 is 232 million. 232.71 million is what we're expecting for revenue, and negative 0.0992. And again, Hexo advisory fee won't be on this report, but we will see Hexo revenue. So it's going to be an interesting report, which we'll be doing a deep dive into. But going to end it there, it's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. If you're bullish on their earnings, bearish on their earnings, do you think they're going to potentially see an improvement in EPS? Like I said, they're forecasting a loss. But like I said, I'm not expecting much for this quarter. But over the next 2 to 3 quarters after that, we should get a real good idea of this behemoth and this global powerhouse in the making. But hope you have a great day, and we'll see you on the next video.